VOA News via remote. I'm Diane Roberts. Russia pounded Ukraine with missiles and drones in waves of attacks on Thursday, killing at least 11 people, damaging dozens of buildings and energy facilities in an array of regions, officials said. Crowds of people took over Kyiv's metro stations as an air raid alert sounded at rush hour before Russia unleashed its latest in a campaign of attacks on the power grid since October that have caused sweeping outages during winter. Germany's defense minister has said Ukrainian troops will be trained to use advanced Western supplies tanks within days. He said it will happen at a training site in Germany by the end of the month. Thursday, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control took additional actions to degrade the Russian Federation's capacity to wage war against Ukraine by sanctioning 8 individuals and 16 entities and 4 aircraft. Here's more from VOA's Steve Miller.
The Treasury Department also designated Russia's Wagner Group as a significant transnational criminal organization. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said in a statement, quote, "Today's expanded sanctions on Wagner, as well as new sanctions on their associates and other companies enabling the Russian military complex, will further impede Putin's ability to arm and equip his war machine." Thursday's actions, concurrent with additional sanctions by the Department of State, targets the infrastructure that supports battlefield operations in Ukraine, including producers of Russia's weapons and those administering Russian-occupied areas of Ukraine. Steve Miller, VOA News.
If you'd like more on these or other stories, visit us at voanews.com. This is VOA News. Top Chinese, Russian, and American officials are scrambling this month to visit nations in Africa, the world's fastest growing continent. Several U.S. officials are in Africa, walking a fine line between the desire for Africa's support against Russian aggression and Chinese ambitions and their promise to do work that benefits the continent. VOA's Anita Powell has more.
Top Chinese, Russian, and American officials have in past weeks flocked to Africa in what they say is a quest to build deeper partnerships. President Joe Biden said last month that he, too, plans to visit this year. Washington says this is not about countering Russian and Chinese ambitions, but about building meaningful relationships in areas such as business, health, and peace and security. But the continent's top diplomat says Africa, which was brutally colonized by European powers for centuries, is no one's pawn. And he added, China understands that. Moussa Faki Mohammed is chairman of the African Union Commission.
Africa refuses to be seen as an arena for influence struggles. We are open to cooperation and partnership with everyone, as long as they respect our principles, our priorities, and our interests. The partnership we have with China is built on this principle.
Anita Powell, VOA News, Washington.
An international ransomware network that extorted more than $100 million from victims around the world has been brought down following a months-long infiltration by the FBI, the Justice Department announced on Thursday. The Hive Group's takedown is the latest in the Biden administration's crackdown on ransomware attacks that cost private businesses and governments billions of dollars a year.
Thousands of Australians marked the country's National Day celebrations on Thursday with rallies in support of Indigenous people, many of whom described the anniversary of the day. A British fleet sailed into Sydney Harbour as Invasion Day. In Sydney, large crowds gathered at an Invasion Day rally in the Central Business District. This year's holiday comes as Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's centre-left Labour Party government plans a referendum on recognizing Indigenous people in the Constitution and requiring consultation with them on decisions that affect their lives, called the Voice to Parliament. Many Indigenous Australians, however, are not supportive of the move, feeling that they are still not being listened to. Tens of thousands of people endured a winter chill and mist on Thursday as they gathered to watch a parade in the Indian capital showcasing the country's defense capability and cultural heritage on a newly revamped ceremonial boulevard. From Washington, I'm Diane Roberts, VOA News.
Please subscribe, like, or comment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm an American. I grew up in the US. I am a professional English language educator with extensive experience in teaching English, especially English for academic purposes, test preparation, and general English to university students and adults